Hi everyone, this is James. This is the second part of the interview that I did with the friend and mentor of mine, Jim Carter. The first part, we talked about why he moved to Mexico 13 years ago. And in this one, I asked him about the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA. A lot of people have been wondering what this means for expats specifically. What do they need to do? What is some practical advice for people in this new legislation? So, Jim's been practicing law for decades, so I figured he would be a good person as any to talk about this. So, here's the second part of the interview. I hope you enjoy it.
FATCA is the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. That was passed by the United States Congress, signed into law in 2010. The ostensible purpose of it is to minimize tax evasion by people who have foreign bank accounts. I say ostensible purpose because that's not the real purpose, but we'll go with that for a second. In order to accomplish this, the U.S. government has to know about the foreign accounts. And their belief is that there's just, out of the 7 million Americans who have elected to not live in the United States, that we're all hiding money, a lot of money, overseas. In bank accounts they have no knowledge of. Because they can't force banks or anyone else to, outside their jurisdiction, to give up this information, they basically engaged in legislation that blackmails both foreign governments and foreign banks into giving us information. And they do so by saying that if you don't give us this information on all U.S. persons, which includes U.S. citizens, residents, and others, people who are married to them, for example, any transfer that goes in or out of, if it goes outside the U.S. to your bank, we're going to take 30% of. We're not going to credit it, we're going to take it. We're simply going to take it. Regrettably, most governments and most banks have fallen sway to this threat and have signed on. It was just the beginning of this month that it became effective vis-a-vis U.S. taxpayers. And so these banks are now dutifully turning over all this information to the U.S. government. Part of the requirement is that the U.S. taxpayers have got to file fairly voluminous forms and other processes that they've got to file with both the Internal Revenue Service and the U.S. Treasury. Separate documentation, separate forms every year, identifying both foreign bank accounts and what's called foreign financial assets, which are beyond the topic of this discussion, but they are different. So naturally there's a lot of U.S. persons out there right now who are concerned because they've had foreign bank accounts have not reported them. The problem with the law, besides the fact that it makes the United States look like the bully that it is, it also doesn't accomplish what they wish to accomplish. Even their own numbers predict that they're going to maybe collect $800 million in taxes as a result of this. But it's going to cost a minimum of $3 billion with a B, to implement it. And that's probably that number's probably low because I've heard from foreign banks that I do business with that they're having a real problem complying, having to redo computer systems. They're having to worry about their own privacy laws that they may be violating. There's a myriad of issues that are facing foreign banks and foreign countries as a result of this that probably are not going to be resolved anytime soon. So it's a real problem not only for foreign countries and their own sovereignty, because nobody likes to be pushed around, especially not openly. It's a problem for foreign banks because many of them see no advantage to going through all these hoops. Making their computer changes, downloading information, worrying about their own privacy issues. And that's why many banks have thrown out U.S. customers. One way they can get around it is say, we don't have anything to report. We don't have any U.S. persons. We closed all of their accounts. And that's happening all over the world now. Some banks are trying to comply, and so they've maintained an open door to U.S. customers, but many have not. As things get tougher and the U.S. begins rattling its saber and cutting off a head here and there, I would not be surprised if many more banks write the letters that I've seen that basically say, you have 30 days to get your money out of our bank or we're going to close your account and send you a check.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in real quick because that is absolutely true. I used to work for a bank that would not allow any American people to be contacted or any customers that were American citizens. So this is something that's happening, and it's happening more and more, so something that people need to be aware of. Then I went on and I asked him about what it is that people need to do now. Well, what does it mean? Maybe if they have not been filing correctly or something like that, what is the action that they need to take? So here it is.
I mean, if there's been no attempt at compliance, meaning there's a form called FBAR, TD90 form. It's been the law for a number of years. Somebody hasn't been filing that form, then they need to consult with tax counsel, a lawyer who specializes in this area, which, by the way, I don't. I'm not one of those. But they need to consult, and quickly, to determine what their alternatives are. Because I fully anticipate that the U.S., all of these, by the way, have criminal penalties attached. Not only horrific civil penalties that sometimes far exceed the value of the account that was not reported, but also criminal penalties. Well, nobody really wants to effectively be excluded from the United States, knowing that they've been indicted for not filing a form, and knowing they can never go back for fear of being arrested. So those people really need to get with it and consult with tax counsel and determine what their alternatives are, because there are 6 or 8 alternatives other than just pretending like it didn't happen, which I don't consider an alternative at all.
So that's it. If you're one of those people that may not have been filing that account, then you might want to take his advice and start looking for some legal counsel. I do know some people that might be able to help people in that situation, so you can contact me. So yeah, if there's anything that any type of questions that people have, let's talk about it and get through this together. You can comment or write me, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Thanks for watching.